The NBA draft is almost here, and we're going to be live for every single pick, and we'll have all the picks in before the major networks. And unlike some, ESPN will actually talk about all the draft picks as well. Even that pick 55 overall, we'll discuss it, even if it's someone you haven't heard of before, because we know what you want. You want actual draft pick discussion, not random interviews or whatever. So if you want every single draft pick before the major networks, hit that big red button and subscribe today. A super chat coming in from Jeb TV, Who should the Mavs get in free agency?
Oh, good question. Here's the beautiful thing about the Mavs. They're going to have the mid-level exception, which will be worth up to $9 million. And that
tantalizing.
That's a good chunk of change. And I'll tell you, I think they're going to end up using that on a guy like Danilo Gallinari. There's already mutual interest beginning to form between Gallinari and the Dallas Mavericks. I think they need to focus on
fit.
It's a fun fit.
Like
they
that.
Need to focus on defense. I think they definitely do. I think a Jay Crowder would work as well.
What if we take Gallinari and Michael Kidd Gilchrist and take MKG's defense and just put it into Gallinari?
You would have a
superstar.
You'd have a scary looking player, but you would have a superstar player for sure. So I think Gallinari is a guy that I would watch out for. Jay Crowder is a guy I would watch out for. Look out for all the wings, because Dallas will be looking to get somebody to add to that wing depth.
From Jeff Aballer, another super chat. Gobert, Conley, and 3 first-round picks to the Bucks for Giannis.
No, Bucks still say no. What if
Giannis demands a trade?
If Giannis demands a trade,
have to trade him then.
I think you got to add in probably a Bojan Bogdanovic then.
Okay.
Conley doesn't have much value. What does a team of Gobert and Chris Middleton do for you? And then 3 first-round picks. If you have Giannis and Donovan Mitchell, those 3 first-round picks become, honestly, not that valuable, probably into the first round.
28th pick, yeah.
And you're hoping you hit on at least one of them. And even if you do, they're not going to be hitting as good as you hit on Giannis Antetokounmpo.
From Nikki T, what teams are trying to trade their draft picks this year?
Well, there are a lot of teams that have actually multiple first-round picks. A lot of teams like the Philadelphia 76ers that you don't see in this graphic that have a lot of second-round picks as well. But when you talk about the teams that have multiple firsts, you got the Timberwolves with the first pick, of course, and the 17th overall pick. I don't think they move number 1. I do think 17 could be in play. The Knicks, they have 8 and 27. Could they package those, move up a little bit, and land a guy that they really, really like? OKC just got the 25th pick, the 28th pick from the Lakers. They already had the 25th pick. But Boston is the team everyone needs to be watching out for, as they have 3 first-round picks. 3! That is insane. And they're 14, 26, and 30. Those are picks that, hey, maybe they package them and they move up and get a guy that they really like earlier in the lottery. Or maybe they package them and get an actual player that can help them win. Now, a lot of reports are coming out that Celtics, they're not looking to looking to keep all of those picks. I mean, you remember last year?
Of course not. They don't have enough space.
They don't have enough space because last year they drafted Carson Edwards, they got Tremont Waters, they got Grant Williams. That was already 3 guys that you had to take, and Romeo Langford, don't forget him. They had to develop all of those guys. They're not going to take a whole another 2-3 years to develop more 3 first-round picks. So I think Boston is the team I would watch out for to start moving some first-round picks before or on draft night.
Could they do something to try and acquire a future first-round pick again, maybe package one of those first to try and just kind of kick the can down the road when they have to make that decision?
Yeah, I think that makes a lot more sense. It'll be interesting to see what Boston does. I don't think they move up too high in the lottery, but I'd watch out for maybe that 7-8 range for them.
Well, who should be the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft? Type in A for Anthony Edwards, J for James Wiseman, L for LaMelo Ball, or if you think it's somebody else altogether, just comment with your player name. Where are you going with, Jimmy? Who should be number 1?
I think Anthony Edwards is the most talented player in this draft. I think he has one of the highest ceilings. I'll say this, and I've said this before. People know that I preach this regularly. LaMelo Ball, highest ceiling in this draft, but he also has a pretty low floor. James Wiseman, higher floor than a lot of these guys, but I think also a little bit of a lower ceiling. And then Anthony Edwards, he's got both of them. He's got a high floor and a high ceiling. You take him number 1.
Another super chat, this time coming in from Eugene Wong. Thank you, Eugene. Do you think Fred VanVleet would be a good fit in the Minnesota lineup with D'Lo? And which other free agent should Minnesota target?
Here's the thing. Fred VanVleet, he was actually an underrated defender. He is a solid defender. He's just small, and so that makes it a little bit tough. I don't think Fred VanVleet and D'Angelo Russell coexist well in the same backcourt. I'm also not sure if Minnesota's willing to commit that much money to another guard. D'Lo's already got a lot of money committed to him. Doesn't really make all that much sense. Other free agents for the Minnesota Timberwolves, man, if I'm the Timberwolves, I just focus on the draft and I focus on developing my already current players. Maybe you bring in a Jeremy Grant if you can. I think that, if they really want to make a playoff push, Jeremy Grant is a guy I'd look out for in Minnesota. But I'm not committing all my money in the world to 2 offensive-minded guards in D'Angelo Russell and Fred VanVleet.
From Adam Weaver, what could Cleveland realistically get for Andre Drummond?
Not a lot.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking, is it anything?
Look at what they gave up for Andre Drummond. Second-round picks and Brandon Knight, not good. So I would expect probably the same kind of return. Maybe they can get a first round in a weaker draft like this year. But I'm sorry, Adam. I hate to say it, man, but that Cleveland team, they don't have a whole lot to expect from Andre Drummond. Honestly, if I'm Cleveland, I just keep Andre Drummond and I see what happens. With Garland, Sexton, Drummond, and whoever they get in this year's draft, what happens with that, foursome or whatever it may be. Now, Kevin Love, that's a different story. I think you could get a little bit of substance from a contender that really likes Kevin Love.
From Taste the Truth, could Golden State trade the second pick and filler for Buddy Hield, Bielitsa, and the Kings, which is number 12 overall?
Yeah, let's see, man. So Golden State in this one would be getting Buddy Hield, Nemanja Bielitsa, and the 12th overall pick. But see, the problem is
your filler almost has to be Wiggins,
it's
right?
It's Wiggins, and at that point, I don't do it unless, there's just not a lot unless you include Draymond, but the Warriors would not be doing that.
You know that I like Hield, but I feel like trading for Hield puts you right back into your D'Angelo Russell issue, where now you got 3 guards who aren't great defensively outside of Clay, and I don't know how they all fit together.
And you don't get what you really need in this, which is a big man. Nemanja Bjelica is a good player, but he's not going to be the defensive rebounding big man that the Warriors want. He's more of that power forward, stretch 4 kind of guy, and that's not really what Golden State needs. You're not going to find a big man at 12 that is going to be worth taking at 12. Like, the drop-off from James Wiseman and Onyeka Okongwu in this draft is pretty significant. So if I'm the Warriors, I don't think trading down to 2 for 12, Bielitsa and Hield, plus whoever you have to add in, a.k.a. Wiggins, is worth it if you're Golden State.
Well, Warriors fans, if you're looking for some new face coverings, we got you guys covered at chatsports.com/NBA mask. And don't worry, they're also available for all of the NBA teams if you don't cheer for Golden State. Check out the full assortment of all the different colors and schemes and variety and 2 and 3 and 4 packs at chatsports.com/NBA mask. We'll put that link for you guys in the comments and in the description. So all you guys have to do is click, find your favorite team, and figure out which mask you want to go with. They are 30% off, by the way, for a limited time at chatsports.com/NBA mask. Still with the Warriors here from KW. If the Dubs stay at number 2, doubts it, who should they draft?
He says he wants Deni Avdija, and they do love Deni Avdija.
I think that's a decent fit.
It's a good fit, but you just can't take him at 2. If you're going to take someone based on fit at 2, you got to take either Wiseman or Onyeka Okongwu. I think that is the realistic answer there. But look, if I'm the Warriors, I take the most talented player available, which is probably going to be LaMelo Ball. I think Edwards goes number 1 because I think that fit in Minnesota makes way too much sense. So if you're going based on best available, which is what I think the Warriors should do here, you take LaMelo, see if he turns into something, and maybe you flip him later. But I'm not ready to take a big man with my second pick, even if it does fill a need.
If you do want Deni Avdija, how far would you be able to trade down before you end up losing if someone else takes him? Like what draft pick?
I love that you asked that question because the Chicago Bulls are the team that are looking really hard at LaMelo and looking really hard to get to number 2. Chicago has that 4th overall pick. That's right in the sweet spot for Deni Avdija, who I think goes 4 or 5. So if the Warriors are dead set on him, you trade down to 4. Maybe you get Wendell Carter Jr. from the Bulls and number 4. You take Avdija, and all of a sudden, your lineup is set if you're Golden State. So I love that. But if I'm staying at 2, I'm taking LaMelo.
All right, so what should the Warriors do then? Should they keep their pick or trade it? Get your votes in here. Type T for trade or type K for keep. I think you trade down and try and get an extra asset and get the guy, whoever that is, because the Warriors sent out so much smoke as of late. I say trade it and move down a few spots.
I'm 100% with you. They also really like guys like Devin Vassell and Sadiq Bey, and those are guys that you can get at the end of the lottery. So if you really covet a different player that's kind of more established, you can do that.
Adam Weaver with an interesting Warriors super chat. LaMarcus Aldridge and number 11 to the Warriors for number 2. You're saying no.
I'm saying no because you have to give up Wiggins too.
That's right.
And that just doesn't make sense for the Warriors because I think I value Wiggins just as much, if not a little bit more, than LaMarcus Aldridge. And number 2 is way better than number 11. I mean, at 11, sure, you can find a Vassell or a Sadiq Bey, but it's not a game changer.
It's
for
a pretty
Golden State.
deep drop off in terms of like the value talent going from 2 to 11. That's fair.
Exactly. So I think the Warriors say no in this one. Aldridge is actually, he's been healthy and he's still a good player. I don't think I'm giving up Wiggins and 2 for him, but
is there any trade for LMA that you think could work out for Golden State?
No, because again, that salary is just so big for next year that it has to be Wiggins or Draymond, but I'm not giving up Draymond for him. So I don't think they do that, but whatever the Warriors do decide to do, whether it's in free agency or trade or in the draft, we're going to have it for you on our Warriors Only channel at youtube.com/WarriorsTV. Go subscribe today.
What does Denver need to do to be title contenders?
I don't think Denver is in – I think Denver and Dallas are in very similar positions where they have the talent to win now. They also have the talent to be patient and see what they can get later on down the road. I think, number 1, you have to bring back Jeremy Grant. I think that is a must-do. I think you have to improve at the wing defensively because Gary Harris and Will Barton have not proven themselves as consistent or reliable players for this team based on injury and really just up and downs in the season as a whole. So what does Denver need to do? I think they need to focus on bringing back Jeremy Grant, bring back their own players, and then slowly but surely develop guys like Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray alongside each other. So I like Denver, but I don't think they're in must-win right now mode.
Another super chat coming in from we're going to go to Kenneth Booker here instead, excuse me. There's a rumor that Denver is trying to trade in the top 10. I don't think it's a good idea. Who do you think they're going after?
I don't know who they would be going after in the top 10. God, let me think. Maybe Devin Vassell. I feel like I've said that name 100 times today, but I do feel like a Devin Vassell at the end of the first round. Maybe if Isaac Okoro drops a little bit, he becomes their starting small forward to kind of really be there for a while. Michael Porter Jr. is their backup. I don't think it's a good idea either because Denver right now, they would have to trade all the way up from 22.
That's a lot.
And that means they'd have to give up an asset. And I'm not giving up assets like Bol Bol or Michael Porter Jr. just to get into the top 10 of a fairly weak draft already. So I'm with you, Kenneth. I don't think it's a good idea.
Another super chat, this one from Taylor Cole. Celtics trade targets not named Miles Turner or Drew Holiday. He says maybe throwing in picks or Smart or Kemba or Hayward.
Well, we mentioned James Harden, but I don't think I don't think it happens. But I think the Celtics are more realistic than most teams. God, not named Turner or Holiday. Maybe they do want Victor Oladipo. I know it's still the Pacers, but maybe it is Victor Oladipo. Maybe they go with another big man. You know what? Let's say the Knicks are absolutely in love with Gordon Hayward. If they could get Mitchell Robinson from them, great. But I highly doubt that. If New York does that, they would be stupid. I think you hold on to Mitchell Robinson. But if they love Gordon Hayward enough, and maybe the Celtics go, hey, we'll give you 14, 26, 30, and Hayward if you give us Mitchell Robinson back. Maybe that's something that could happen for the Boston Celtics. And
interesting.
I do want to give a shout-out to all of our Celtic fans because this channel has been growing like crazy. We're really quickly approaching 1,000 subscribers, so please – oh, we passed it. We're already past 1,000. So let's get to 2,000. Chatsports.com/CelticsTV. Go turn on your notifications because we got videos coming out basically every day on that channel with the Celtics about to have a crazy offseason.
They always do. And if you guys want more videos, then just subscribe. So, again, it's chatsports.com/CelticsTV. All right, over to Carter here. If OKC continues to send away cap space, could they make a legitimate splash in free agency?
No. And here's the problem. Number 1, Oklahoma City's not a destination. I like Oklahoma City. I like hanging out there. I'm not going to live there. And then also, the problem is nobody's going to go play for a team in free agency that isn't going to win anything, right? Like Ricky Rubio, SGA, Baisley, Oubre, Dort, Steven Adams. Fun team. SGA, I think, is a top 3 guard under 25, but nobody's going to go play for Oklahoma City because they're not playing for anything as we speak besides a higher draft pick.